Democratic chances look now in Michigan now that we know that El Sayed is the nominee?
You know, once El Sayed became the favorite for that nomination, and now that he's actually become the nominee, Democratic chances have fallen dramatically. Okay, counties El Sayed won in the primary. 0 of 15. 0 of 15 with the lowest share of college degrees. Ergo, he did not win in those working class areas. Where he did win, he won 13 of the 15 counties with the highest share of college degrees. So you're thinking about Democrats having real trouble amongst the working class. El Sayed's support came dramatically from those areas. In fact, not where there is working class folks, but where there are.
So basically what he's saying is the people that are not indoctrinated from these college campuses, they understand what socialism is, and they're saying, no, thank you.
Are highly educated folks, more from elite circles than from the working class circles. And I think there's real worries among Democrats. Will that transfer over to the general election and El Sayed continue to have the problems that prior Democrats have had with the working class?
You think that's not the only worry the Democrats should have here?
No, it's not the only worry.
The Democratic Socialists, they keep telling everybody that their policies is to help the working class, but the working class is saying, we don't want your help.
Because, I mean, the polling estimated El Sayed's primary margin by about 10 points. And I think there's a real question, will that happen in the general election again? Because the general election polling is quite tight. And what we know in Michigan is the candidate of the college degrees tend to be overestimated. Will that happen with El Sayed? Maybe, but I think it's just another worry in why this race has closed dramatically and the folks who are trying to handicap it.
Sayed wins, I will not vote Democrat. I'll switch over, and I'll vote for a candidate with character, whoever that might be.
I expect Haley to prevail. And I'm very anxious about the socialist aspect of what Abdul and his supporters represent. I'm a liberal, but I'm not a socialist.
The Democrat machine isn't dead yet. They're grabbing their guns, hopping on the saddle, and heading off to battle, telling the New York Times, quote, "We're preparing for the next war that is coming." The machine raised $15 million to fight the commie insurgency. Now, the commies, they don't even need money. They fight just because they like the taste of blood. But the cash, that's the only thing the machine knows. And cash has always been king until now. Kamala outspent Trump 2-1, and salty grapes outspent Abdul 10-1. Now the clock's ticking. Quote, their fear, Abdul was paving a path for a progressive to seize the party's presidential nomination in 2028 and then go on to lose the general election. The commies are already measuring the drapes.
Do you think that there will be a nominee, a Democratic nominee for president that will be either a Democratic Socialist or aligned with Democratic Socialist policies?
You know, I think we will see what the voters have to say when it comes to 2028. I think that we have seen the best thing to do is to listen to what voters want.
The buzz at this week's D.C. cocktail parties, Abdul's unstoppable. One of his former staffers says this.
I think if he wins the general election, he will run for president.
I have the same thing. See, we're
2
for 2 on who's going to run for president.
Yeah,
same.
I
totally
can
agree.
guarantee you, he will be the progressive front runner.
AOC might be the heir to Bernie's throne, but she's only one in the Bronx. And let's be honest, the Democrats haven't had good luck running women. So if Abdul wins a general in the Rust Belt, he's going to have street cred. And Muslim fever is going to spread. The establishment's ordering a code red, calling this a mortal danger to the party. They've even cobbled together a war room to do opposition research on every single commie up and down the ballot. They're treating the commies like Republicans. So, commies, get ready to be accused of rape. Plattner, sound familiar? But the communists have a secret weapon: crazy white women.
You're going to hear establishment preservationist Democrats saying, oh, Abdul can't win in the general election. And this is horse. It is horse because look no further than New York. Why are they winning? Because the people are sick of politicians whoring themselves out to corporations.
The ladies better not get too cocky because Abdul's numbers just dropped, literally.
Once El Sayed became the favorite for that nomination, and now that he's actually become the nominee, Democratic chances have fallen dramatically. You can see it right here. Cast your prediction odds. Take a look here. Chance to win the Michigan Senate race. You go back to April at this point in the month. Dems had a 79% chance. Look how that number has fallen dramatically. Down we go in Lake Michigan. Now we're talking about just a 59% chance. While Mike Rogers, the Republican nominee, look at this, 21% chance, basically doubling now up to a 41% chance.
Michigan's a swing state. You can't win it with just college towns. He's already in the hole with blacks, white working class, and farm country. Abdul knows that, so he's transitioning.
With the positions that you've had on Medicare for all or abolishing ICE or, a billionaire's tax, what do you think that looks like in terms of going forward?
I think right now the question that people are asking is not where do you stand on the left-right spectrum on a series of issues that people talk about on CNN. I think the questions that people are asking is who's going to help me afford my housing? Who's going to help me afford my groceries? Who's going to make sure I can see a doctor if I get sick? I'm interested in answering those questions. I'm not a socialist, but I am a scientist.
Oh, so the Michigan Muslim wants to abolish ICE, your doctor, and your savings. And we've already dealt with a mad scientist during the pandemic. We're good. Just like Tallarico's trying to prove that he loves women, Abdul's trying to prove he loves Jews.
So as I've always said to my Jewish sisters and brothers, I'm looking forward to fighting the fight against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia with you. I'm looking forward to joining you. If you open the door for me, I'm happy to come in. I'm looking forward to building relationships. I hope that you'll join this movement.
If Abdul can bring Jews and Muslims together, then Mazel Tov. He should be president. But that's a long shot. Abdul spent the whole primary blasting Jewish money. Salty Grape Stevens got 30 mil of it. Suddenly, Abdul realizes the general's going to be expensive, and he's like, shalom! And Chuck's holding the purse. So Abdul has gone from, Chuck's got to go to, Chuck, he's my bro.
How did your call with Chuck Schumer go today?
Well, at this point, I'm the only Democrat standing to come to the inside of the U.S. Senate, and I think we had a good, meaningful, heart-to-heart conversation about what it takes to win in a state like Michigan, and what needs to be done to defeat Mike Rogers. So I'm looking forward to partnering alongside him to win the Senate majority.
Breaking news! It is 12:58 a.m. Steve Kornacki finally announced it. Abdul El-Sayed has won the Michigan primary! And I'm from Wisconsin! And I am cheering so loud. Oh my God. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you. Oh my God. Ya Allah! Congratulations, Abdul! I knew you were gonna do it! Now I can finally go to bed. I was like, I cannot go to bed until this happens, until it's called that Abdul has won, and he won! So happy!
Wow, that's sad. That's sad.
Would you vote for Abdul El-Sayed?
Yeah.
You would vote for him?
Yeah, I would.
You would? After everything we just said?
Yeah, because here's the thing. I think that I understand when I do this as an analyst from the center. I do this as somebody who's not putting their opinion into it, because I genuinely look at all the sides. I talk to the people who are involved, and I look at it as an analyst. And so,
but how could you vote for somebody who doesn't want Jews in the Democratic Party?
Because I don't think that he doesn't want Jews in the Democratic Party. I think that the media has clipped the wrong pieces, because I've listened to him, and when he says things, he says Mamdani does a much better job of it. But
he
talk
doesn't
about
want Zionists. He does not want Zionists in his party.
So I think that you're right that Zionism is a central tenet of the modern conception of Judaism, but I think that a lot of people connect to their faith without connecting to the political aspect of it. And to me, my attachment to Israel is an ancient one. It's not a political one.
But you're a Zionist.
So, but not, I'm not a Zionist in the modern definition. It depends on what that definition is.
The modern definition is the state of Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state. You are a Zionist. You said so earlier. You want there to be a Jewish state.
White liberal women is going to be the death knell of American society. They are terrible.
White liberal women are the devil, okay? They are the most dangerous species that's out here. They're the most problematic because they're so stupid. They sicken my very soul. Honestly, I think they have the true bloodline of Jezebel, because Jezebel wanted to get in all of the ridiculousness through legislation. That's what Jezebel wanted. She wanted power through legislation. She wanted to be able to do the foolishness that she wants to do through legislation. And so that's why you see these white liberal women supporting this foolishness. Let me help the people out here, because I had to go in real quick to see the demographics of the people that supported El Sayed, his whole entire government name. I'm not trying to figure out. Black voters, the majority black areas, got this man in office. This is how dumb y'all are. So y'all hate white people because of slavery, but somehow the other y'all forgot about the trans-Saharan slave trade. Somehow y'all forgot about that. Y'all
Also,
forgot.
they didn't forget. They don't know. They're ignorant.
That's even worse. The people that y'all are supporting are your masters. I just want y'all to know that. If y'all want to call white people your masters, the colonizers, what do you call them? And mind you, when slavery ended amongst quote unquote, again, it wasn't white people, it was Democrats. But since y'all want to call it white people, I'm gonna speak y'all language for y'all right now. I'm gonna speak y'all language right now. If white people are the colonizers and their slave trade ended first, and the trans-Saharan slave trade went on forever and a day, in fact, they're still holding people in slavery in some of these African countries. How are y'all still supporting that? I don't understand your mindset. Y'all are absolutely ridiculous. I have no word, especially you black voters. I don't understand y'all, because it said Detroit, he won big in some of these large black populations, led by 8 points amongst black residents. What is wrong with y'all? I'm gonna do this slower for y'all because maybe I talk too fast. That's that New York in me, so let me slow it down for y'all. Takia is a very real thing. All of these people in Islam are playing takia with y'all. Let me explain what takia is. They're going to say whatever they need to say to make you feel like they're in alignment with you, and they are allowed to do that in their religion. They're allowed to lie in their religion to trick you so that they can get to be dominant over you, because your guard will be down. You think that they're your friend, and then they will take over. I don't even understand how y'all don't understand that. If you go and actually do some work, y'all, again, they showed that a lot of his supporters were college educated. Well, then y'all could read. Go read something. Go look it up. If you look, the Islamic ideology, they don't like anyone that is not of Islam. They don't care for anyone. You loudmouth white liberal women that think you run everything, they don't like you. Go ask those people, those women in the UK, what happened to them when they started running amok in their country. Go talk to them. Go look at the 250,000 cases of things that happened to these women and girls, like 11, 12-year-old girls. But this is what y'all trying to support here in America. The thing, I'm going to go back to the statement that I said before. Liberals thought they were using Islam to bring in socialism. But you useful idiots don't realize that Islam is using y'all, Muslims are using y'all to bring Islam into America and to take over America. That is their goal. That is their point. And again, if y'all don't understand, again, Adam was a soy boy. He was a soy boy. But Satan went to Eve to be able to accomplish his goal of bringing destruction to humanity. And that's literally what they're doing right now. They're coming to the stupid liberal white women that sit down here and saying, I'm supposed that woman stayed up and is cheering. I can't believe it. El Sayed won. El Sayed won. Do you know what they will do to you? Oh my goodness. I just had an image of what they would do to you. And it's not pretty. If you don't conform to them, I know they said they won't take your life. Okay, they will make you pay what is it, a giza? They'll make you pay the tax. I guess y'all didn't know about the tax that you have to pay for them if you don't convert to Islam. There's a tax that you have to pay. These are the things that happens when you do research and you actually know. You go out, let me change it again. This is what happens when you go outside and touch the grass. You know other people's culture, you know other people's things, so you don't support things that are not good for America. If y'all want socialism so bad, pick one of the many countries around the world and go live there. If you want communism so bad, pick one of the many countries around the world that's doing it and go live there. Stop trying to disrupt our capitalist America, number one, and our constitutional republic that we love very much here in America.
In my 13 years, I probably spent about 7 or 8 of them in a Muslim country, playing in Muslim countries. At one point in my life, I even dabbled into Islam. I met the sheikh over a country, you know, the imams and everything like that. The democratic socialism is no way near how Islam is really moved, you know, just like she was saying with, you know, the white woman jumping up and down saying, you know, it literally sounds like the book of Genesis. It literally sounds like that. He's tickling her fancy. You know, that's why he doesn't go to Adam. You know, he's telling her these good things. But one thing that people don't know is, and people always kind of conjure it, Satan never lied to her. He just skirted the truth. And so, and just like she said, they just saying whatever that needs to be said. They're saying whatever needs to tickle the fancy to make your ear feel good, and they're clamoring at it. And so we get them in office. I agree with her. They're trying to put Islam in America. You know, we in a Christian country. I don't, you know, me personally, I know that I don't believe that they're going to win. I don't think God would allow that. But hey, we don't know what God allowed. We don't control all that. But I don't think that would happen. But to say democratic socialism, that is against the very thing of Islam. You know, just like you said, with the women, with the authoritativeness, the way that they move, like literally living there. Like I literally lived in these places to where the government is the Islamic government. You know, it's nothing like how we move here, how we live here. I've been in Basra, Qatar, you know, Dubai, like all these places. The government is totally different than how we live here in America, where we like to say the land of the free. And just to see her jump up and down, I'm even looking at her. Where are you, in your bedroom, or how you like? I'm just looking at her. I'm like, okay, I see why you voted for him. And just like the propaganda of like the educated people, that's the propaganda that they've read in that book. You've read this in this book, but those that have common sense, so you know, you got your book sense, then you got your common sense. Those that got common sense, they know better. And they know we can't put this man up there. I don't care what, because everything he's saying is against the very fabric of Islam. So it's, you know, I don't care what he says. Just like she said, if you do your research, if you pay attention, and, you know, on my side, actually being there, studying it, studying the Quran, studying the Hadith, I done studied all of that. You know, the way that they move, how they move. You know, the Prophet Muhammad was all about the government. He controlled it. It's a whole thing behind it. When you do your research, everything this man is saying is against what they believe. It's literally against it. So you think he's going to go against his actual belief to, you know, to make America happy, to what, to make America great again? He's going to go against the fabric of his belief? Like, come on. It doesn't even make sense. But that's where common sense goes out the window, and she's jumping up and down and she's running. Lady, he's Muslim. Go study Islamic beliefs. Go study it. And she says, oh my God, he's won. She's about to cry and all this extra stuff. You are emotionally caught up in something that you have no common sense about. Because at the fabric of his being, he is a Muslim man. You value the character of that man. You value the character. Most of us that have fathers and, you know, married, you know, all of that, the character of that man, the value of that man, the core of that man is not changing. He may, you know, fluctuate and doing this differently to accommodate you and all of that, but the fabric of that man is not changing. So you're going to tell me he's going to say all these things and forget that he's a Muslim. He's going to say all that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to take this apart and forget that he serves Allah or the Prophet Muhammad and however they do it now. You're telling me that's what's going to happen. And he's going to make America great. A Christian nation. He's going to make a Christian nation great. and denounce, because he got to denounce his beliefs in order to sit and say he's a part of this Christian nation. You think he's about to denounce his beliefs? People just got to get some common sense, man.
The Democratic Socialists are really starting to take hold in the country because people are looking for something for nothing. And what they don't understand is that there's nothing out here that is free. It's going to cost you something. And that's why you see, I don't know if you guys have noticed, within the DSA, you're also starting to see a rise of Black people within the Democratic Socialists. There's a few of them running. There's one running out in Philly. There is one that ran and won his primary out in the Detroit area as a representative. And so you're starting to see, more and more Black people take hold to this socialist mindset, of thinking that we need to tear the system down, not understanding that that is the system that puts you in the position that you're currently in today, that makes you some of the wealthiest people to ever exist in this on this planet. And it's really sad, because we could talk about, the white liberal women, and Lord knows that they are, an issue. But what also concerns me is that you're starting to see more and more Black people align with this socialist propaganda. And you're seeing it not only in the way that they vote, but they're also, joining the movement. They're card carrying, due paying individuals within the DSA. And they're not afraid to come out there and say that, because you got a lot of folks out there that, we're the people. I know the Democrats won't give you that, but we'll give you those reparations. So you got folks, looking for something for nothing. This DSA situation, it's a full-fledged psyop all the way around. However you want to look at it, it's a full-fledged psyop in every direction that you look at it.
And that's why it's so important for people like us who have our heads screwed on right to get this message out to them. These people do not understand what they're stepping into. It is sad. I don't think the socialist communism or Islam or any of this stuff should have any attraction. It should have any recognition. But the reason why they do is because people are functioning by their feelings and by their desire for handouts. And they're not thinking with their brain. They're not thinking rationally. And so many of them are incapable of thinking right. They've so trained themselves to think on terms of, what are you going to give to me? What are you going to give to me that I want? These socialists, they're playing these people. And we need to cut into that play. Our message has to be just as clear as to what our method of thinking and our policies, how it benefits them. Because that's what they're listening to. They're saying, what's in it for me? What have you done for me lately? What are you going to do for me? So we got to tell them, listen, they're saying they're going to do this for you and that for you and give you these free things, but that's really not what's going to happen. That's a con. And our message has to be so potent that when they hear their message, they'll see what they're really saying and not what they think they're saying. Because like you said, Brother Wise, you're right. A lot of African-American people are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. Because they see they think that they're telling them, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you those things that you want, what you need. And as Sister Chris was saying, that's the key in Islam. You tell people anything you have to tell them to convince to give you power, and then they're going to run all over you. And the communists were the same way. They'll say anything that you need them to say to make you think that they're for you until they get the power. And then they're going to run all over you. You're nobody to them. And that's a message that we have to get out to these people so that they don't get screwed like they're getting screwed.
I like Dubai. So I spend a lot of time over there. But I noticed one thing. They don't want to come here. Well, why don't they want to come here? Because it's different, right? And so their thoughts and their ideologies are over there. What I have noticed in the Democratic Party in general is an extreme. Okay. It is an extreme of any faction that you can think about. Let's look at Tellerico. Tellerico is what? Supposedly Christian, correct? He preaches, he's a pastor, all of this. We know he not work with me, but he's supposedly Christian, right? But he takes extreme measures on when he starts to talk about certain things from the Bible, right? And one with sense would look at it and be like, no, right? The same as with Abdul. What he's talking about, they don't do in Dubai. So there will be no way he could help you, right? Because that's not what he believes. I can assure you that's not what he believes. There are beautiful things over in Dubai, don't get me wrong, but there are things that they don't believe, which is why they don't intermingle with other cultures. Like, you can't go there and become a dual citizen. You can't go there and get the things that they get because it's not for you. And they have made that clear, right? You can come there and work, you can come there and enjoy the luxuries and things that are there, but you cannot become a citizen, and it's for a reason. They don't want you and your thoughts and your ideas coming over there messing with their country. And that's perfectly fine. I don't know why in the world Americans don't get that here, right? It's okay for other people to come here and enjoy America, do this, that, and the third. But why are you implementing certain things that don't work here? Okay.
Stupid.
And it's absolutely dumb. If we're all humans, I get it. So, of course, we're going to intermingle. We're going to go into each other's countries, cultures, all of that stuff. I've been places, Hindu, this, that, and the third, whatever that they believe, right? However, I don't go and take that and try to implement it in my house. Overall, the arching point is they want everything for free. When nothing, and I do absolutely nothing. Even if you involve socialism, it's not free. You're giving up something. And everything that is natural has to have a give and a take, a yin and a yang. And people are trying to void themselves of that. They're trying to void themselves of the consequences. They're trying to void themselves reaping what they sow. They're trying to void themselves of all of that by skirting around the issue that you're not doing anything for your country. You're not doing anything for the next fellow person, your neighbor. You don't even know them. There's no sense of camaraderie in America anymore. There's no sense of anything. Any problem is they've voided themselves of any moral hierarchy. So when you do that, now you're saying, well, I can just come up with anything. And that's what they're doing. They're coming up with anything. They have women who aren't women. We can clearly see that is a ma'am. And they're allowing themselves to be governed by what the government deems to be moral and to be right. And the government is essentially become the thing that the founders didn't want it to be.
Well, I just want to say that I think women who are unsatisfied with their looks and with their lifestyle and with their current situation are dangerous. The great seer into the future, as his words have lasted several generation. William Shakespeare has said, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned." People, I think, misunderstand that to be a romantic statement. That is a complete statement that can include romance. But honey, let these people have their way. They will bring down wrath upon your country. Now, I want to say, I have said before that the Democrats don't like Black people. Remember, I said they don't like you. And they used you, and they used your so-called grievance for integration and equality to get themselves into a situation of power and prominence. And now that you have done that for them, and they have forming a new coalition, they are ready to drop you. The problem with Black people is that they are more liberal than they are Black, which is why they cannot stand up for a Clarence Thomas or for a Shelby Steele or for a Ben Carson or for any Black person who's living and working and showing the results of common sense. They are more liberal than they are Black. The Jews, you have dug your own hole. However, this cozying up that you've had for the past 80 years with liberals who don't like you. They have told you they don't like you. The liberal New York Times wouldn't report the Holocaust. It was liberals in our government and in our business system that were funneling money to the Nazi side of Hitler. We did not try and save the Jews. What we did initially was to extract all of the Jewish intellectuals and scientists that we thought would be useful to us, and we didn't care that the rest of them died. These people don't like you. Why are you cozying up to them? I suspect you are under the same grand delusion as Black people. You are more liberal than you are Jewish. And you don't know anything about Judaism. You don't know about your history, and you don't know about your interaction with this liberal cabal that has been courting you for years and is now, just like Black people, ready to throw you aside, because guess what? They got a new coalition, and guess who ain't in it? Jews and Blacks.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt.